Hello and welcome to my channel. This is episode 27. First thing as always, thank you to those of you that have subscribed to my channel. If you are new, names will go up over here. And thank you to those of you that have been following and supporting me on the forum. Recognition goes up over here. Now I have 3 notifications before I start. The first one, as you can probably tell, if you haven't seen my video from last week, check it out. I am a lot better and you can see the comparison. The second notification is some of my friends have gone out today to play Airsoft and I envy them. Sadly, it's at a site that I'm not too keen on anymore, but nevertheless, hope you guys have a great time and can't wait to hear the stories. And the third and final notification is, again, if you haven't seen my video from last week, check it out. I am going to put 2 options in front of you right now. Whichever one you choose, put your answers in the comments down below. Fingers crossed, hopefully this coming Sunday, I will go to Red Alert and I will use that. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's get into the video. So, this is going to be split into 2 parts, okay? Beginners and regulars. So, the first part is going to be focusing on the beginners. Now, there is a board behind me, so if you see me looking up, it's just so I can get my bullet points references. So, I'm going to cover 3 things here, okay, for the beginner, okay? Now, this is considerations and cautions, okay? So, the first one, okay, like all people that begin in Airsoft, okay, you're going to rent your gear, okay? Now, in different areas across the planet, everything will be different. So I'm going to be focusing on the UK. Now, when you go online, on your phone, or your laptop, and you want to get into Airsoft, you'll find a site. Obviously type in nearest sites near you. It will give you a variety. You can choose which one you want to go to. Once you click on the web, okay, very important, go on to rental, okay? It should be 50 quid, £50 if you want to be more precise. And what you do is fill in your details, obviously your name, obviously you're renting for the day, etc, etc. You may have to pay online or you might get the option to pay on the day, okay? All sites will vary. Nevertheless, you turn up, you fill in your form, your paperwork, obviously again, name, have you got any medical issues that we need to know about, a waiver of some degree. And then obviously you go and listen to the marshals, they will explain everything for the game day once everyone's there. And if there's something that you haven't heard or you're not sure about, you can yell it out in front of the group. Or if you're nervous or just want to have a quiet chat, wait for the whole talk to be over by the marshals, then go up to the marshal and say, look, sorry, I didn't hear you, sorry you didn't cover this, can you help me? And they are obliged to help you because they want you to have a good time. And once they've done that, hopefully cleared up. Now the marshals will also say on the day, please follow this particular marshal. Those of you that are renting on the day, he will explain everything. So this leads up to my first thing, rental kit. Now, on the day, okay, now some of the kit I haven't got here, so just bear with me, I'm going to be using it as an example. The first thing you'll get for your £50 renting is eye protection, okay? Now, this is just basic eye protection. When you rent, you will get full face protection, covering the ears, everything, okay? Obviously, at some sites, they may change it so you only have front face protection, so your sides are exposed, which I kind of don't like, and they tend to be more mesh old school rentals, which they're being phased out by now. Some sites still use them, but at most sites that I've been to recently, it's always full face protection, which is great. The first thing you do with that is when you're in the safe zone, that's fine, sorry. When you're not in the safe zone, when you're in the field, do not mess with your eye pro, okay? Your face protection at all, okay? You do not lift it up, you do not take it off, okay? Because that is asking for trouble, okay? If the marshal spots you, he will warn you. If you continue to do this, you can actually get kicked out for the game, or you can get kicked out and banned there, okay? That's not a great way to start. So if you have any problems, okay, with your face protection, make sure you cover your eyes, okay? Very important. Sometimes the mask may come off. It's not your fault. Whatever happens, okay, imagine you're doing a DAP or some description, cover your eyes and yell out for the marshal, or they'll have certain code words on the fields for safety, so if something happens, shout out marshal or guns down, and people should respond straight away. You know straight away it's serious, okay? So do not mess with your eye protection, because if you lose an eye, it's not easy to replace, unless you're filthy rich and you know a doctor. If you do, please let me know, just in case, of course. So, you get eye protection, that's one other part of the kit. Now, the next thing you're probably thinking when you first start off, when do we get the guns? When do we get the guns? Well, it's not a gun, it's a RIF, okay? Realistic imitation firearm. Now, I'm using this as an example, okay? This is my E&L AKS74U. It's one of the options I mentioned at the beginning. Now, when you get this, okay, they will go through the features such as safe, semi, full auto. Those are the three main options, okay? So just bear that in mind. Now, at the dozen sites that I've been to, only one site used this particular model, an AK, but it was very cheap and very nasty. Most sites nowadays are either using the G36C or the M4 based platform, and most of my friends that are playing today are using one of those variants, so I can imagine them later on in the videos going, Gamble, you need a G36C. Oh, Gamble, you need an M4. Well, I haven't, okay, it's that simple. And you give me any riff and I will use it. I've said that before to my friends anytime. So, I'm just using my AK for example here, okay? Now, obviously I've mentioned there are three functions, safety, semi and full auto, okay? Do not tamper with the gun in any shape or form, okay? The battery, there's no battery in this one, okay? Just for an example. Do not mess with the pop-up, okay? You can take it out into the little area where they chrono, just fire a few little test shots to make sure it's accurate. Most rentals will be fully charged and accurate. If there's any problems, don't get your friend to sort it out, very important. Don't get a regular to sort it out, go to the marshal, okay? It's important, okay? They have to look after their own gear, so make sure they do that. Now, once you get your riff, okay, you're probably thinking, well, where are all the mags? Where are all the mags? You can't operate a gun without mags. Very true. So on the day, you probably will get a high cap. And you're probably thinking, what's a high cap? Well, for those of us that know, but for those of you that don't know, okay, you put your BBs in through here at the top, fill it up completely. At the bottom here, you'll see a crank. If you hear carefully, you crank it up, and all the BBs will come up to the top eventually. Now, a high cap should last you an entire game, unless you're going through BBs like crazy, okay? Now, very important, okay, when you're in the safe zone, like this is fine, okay, it's on safety, okay, there's no mag, there's no BBs in the barrel, that's fine, that's allowed in the safe zone. What is not allowed, and this is a big no-no for beginners, so don't do this, don't put your mag in the gun and leave it, because if a marshal sees you, he will tell you off for that, okay? Again, you want to have a good time, not a bad time. So the only time you can actually put these in the riff is when you're going in to the field to play the game. So once you're out the safe zone, yes, you put in like so, and then you play the game, whatever it is, bang, bang, you're dead, bang, bang, you're dead, okay? Now, very important when you finish the game, okay, save your BBs, don't shoot them all wildly, okay, because you'll need them for the next game. So you take the mag out like so, very important, okay, clear the gun, okay, marshals will be at the entrance to the safety, okay, so I'm going to say put it in semi, double tap, make sure you see the BB come out, because there's always one that will be left in the barrel, okay, so just a quick double tap, just make sure, again give it another double tap if you're not sure, and if there's no BBs coming out, then you're fine. You leave the mag in one hand and the riff in the other. Again, just make sure you always put the safety on for that extra purpose. Now, so the first thing is eye protection, second thing is the riff with the mag, but you're probably thinking, well, how am I supposed to play a game without the ammo? Well, correct. When you rent, you'll be given around, I don't know, 2,000 plus 3,000 BBs in a bottle or in a plastic bag. Plastic bags, I think, are better, only for one reason. If you've got a high cap mag, you can put it in your bag. Here's a little tip for beginners. If you've got a plastic bag, put it in, if it fits, then use your hands, scoop the BBs up into the mag. It's a lot easier, and I have seen this before from beginners, okay? I'm going to take these off actually now, so I can see a little bit better. I have seen a beginner do this, literally have the bag here, I'll use this, okay, just imagine, literally pick one at a time and do this, before that falls, just one at a time, picking a BB up. You're going to be there all day, why do that, okay? Simple things like that. So, these things will be covered, okay? Eye protection, the riff, the mag, the BBs. You may be lucky at some sites, they kind of stopped doing it now. You may get BDU overalls, that's optional if you're lucky, but these are the four main things you'll get. Eye protection, riff, mag, and BBs. That's the first thing I've covered, So I'm going to put these down now, over here. Put it here. Right, moving on to my second part, okay? Now this is consideration, okay? Now I was on the forum recently with a lot of people asking beginner questions, and it was a good topic. So I was thinking about this, what are the cheapest options? So considering, okay, if you've lived in the UK and you know what outdoors is like, certain sites will have certain elements that you don't want to really keep dealing with because they can be annoying. So I was thinking very carefully, what are the top 3 things for a beginner if you are to consider getting into airsoft? So the first thing of all, gloves. Okay, now you may rent your gear, but they do not give you hand protection. So some simple gloves, okay, outdoor gloves, camo gloves, whatever you want. They're cheap as anything, and if you get into airsoft, I say it's a good investment. So get yourself a good pair of gloves, because the last thing you want to do is keep dealing with twigs, stinging nettles, rocks, sharp objects, that sort of thing. Anything that will annoy your hands. So I highly recommend gloves as the first option. The second option, I'm going to take this off, yes I know I need a haircut, is a neck scarf, multifunctioning, okay? Now, if you've got full face protection, that's fine, but you may want to protect your neck or blend in a bit more, that's fine. Also, if you've got only just the front face protection, you can easily put this over your head. Yes, I know I'm probably going to look ridiculous doing this, but hey. But again, gives you a little bit more protection on the ears as well, and obviously a little bit of the forehead, top of the head. Again, simple little things like that. So the second thing is a multifunctional neck scarf. And the third and final thing is, I've seen so many beginners use this, trainers, okay? If you're going outdoors, I wouldn't highly recommend trainers for a simple reason. You're going to, well, get them completely wrecked by the end of the day, and you have to clean them. So you might as well get some boots of some description. Doesn't have to be military, it could be hiking boots. Hell, you could even bring your wellies if you want to. But again, something that's going to obviously be good for outdoors. So those 3 options right there, I highly recommend as a consideration, okay? The third and final thing, I'm going to put my hat back on because I don't want to keep my hair like this. Right, the third and final thing, okay, this is the cautions, okay, for beginners. Now, marshals will say this when you rent your gear, please watch your fire, okay? They will say this to everyone, not just beginners, but to the regulars. During the whole briefing, they'll say, right, if you're going to full auto, okay, hold the trigger for 10 seconds, okay, maximum. They may say, right, if you go into a building, okay, I'm going to show you this way so you can see this. They might say, right, semi, only in buildings. If you're out in the open, you may go to full auto, again, but watch your trigger, okay? I mentioned this in a video at my beginning, when I first started. You got trigger discipline and you got trigger happiness. Try and be the trigger discipline. Again, it's a movie reference. Again, if you know what it is, you're cool. Very important, okay? As a beginner, okay, you'll learn this through your experience, but best thing to do, okay, is you don't need full auto for every single situation, okay? The good thing is, if you can do single, and when I first started, when I rented, I actually stuck with single, again, keeping it as much as possible. I did use full auto when I need to, so full auto comes in handy for beginners. If you're covering your friend, or you want to lay down suppressing fire, that's fine. I have been, and this happens to quite a few of us, particularly those of us that have been playing for longer, you may put your hand up, and I have had a case where a beginner literally, my hand was up, and literally sprayed up my entire body up to my hand, and I was thinking, what are you doing? So I took a step towards him, and thankfully, there was a marshal right behind the kid and said, right, stop what you're doing. He's got his hand up, you shouldn't be shooting him. And I gave my thumbs up in distance to show, thank you, marshal. So it's simple things like that. If you see someone with their hand up, do not shoot them. Sometimes we may walk past a certain crossfire, that happens, okay? Don't take it personally, all right? But very important for beginners, make sure, again, you're looking down your sight, okay? Do I want to go in semi? Do I want to go in auto? Enough rounds? And the most important one is, don't do this, okay? If I'm looking over here, I don't want to be doing all this blind firing or around corners of buildings, blind firing. It's not cool and you will get caught up for that. Don't do it, beginners, okay? And I think that's it. So yeah, I think that's it for the beginners. Put this back here. So, like I said, this is a part 1. Next week I will do part 2, which will be based for the regulars. Again, I can't say anything more than that apart from beginners. Yep, you're going there to have fun. Obviously, it can be a little bit daunting with other people there that have been playing regularly. Obviously, you'll fit right in with certain players. Again, remember, trigger discipline, okay? Use semi, use full auto when necessary. And yeah, have a fun time and hopefully you enjoy the sport, or hobby, as you want to call it, of Airsoft. And that's it. So, like, comment, share and subscribe. Don't forget to click the little bell icon so you know when the next video is. I enjoyed making this video. I look forward to making the next video. The most important thing you can do is stay safe.